The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
He's not leaving. He's not leaving. At least that's what Mike Williams said yesterday. Will the Jets still trade the wide receiver they gave $10 million to this offseason? We'll talk about that. Plus, game days tomorrow. Jets Steelers, season on the line. The Buffalo Jet fan joins the show. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hit it and get it started.
Man, our Jets are primed for a historic season. Jets green each and every day. This is not the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jets bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. Shout out to the New York Yankees. Despite giving us a heart attack last night, they are one win away from their first World Series appearance since 2009. Mets stay alive, so the baseball team's doing their job. Will the Jets do theirs tomorrow night? Joining us right now is a fellow Jet content creator, one of the all-time greats, if I do say so myself. We say hello on a Saturday to the Buffalo Jet fan. BJF, how we feeling, man?
Not as good as the last time we talked, but look, man, the way I see it is the Jets have a 2-game season in front of them. I think they have to win both of their next 2 games at Pitt and at New England, and then you're 4-4 and you figure it out from there. But it's tough to imagine the team would be able to overcome a 2-5, or honestly even a 3-5 start. So no need to look much further. Must-win game. I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but they got to have this one tomorrow, man. Have to.
Completely agree. And then you look at like what happens if they don't. Like people are still going to somehow spin it forward. Well, they beat New England. And it's like, no, you're playing a team that at 2-4, the Steelers at the end of the day are probably going to be around that 9-win mark because that's where they are every year with Mike Tomlin. This game is huge, not just, to get yourself off the schneid here. You've lost 3 in a row. But when you start talking about tiebreakers at the end of the year, if you lose this game, you already have a loss to Denver. They're 4-2. Right. Now you'd have a loss to Pittsburgh. Like, you talk about tiebreakers for the Jets, even if they did go on a run after this game, if they lost 9-8, maybe doesn't get you in. If you're competing with the Steelers, they now have that tiebreaker. So it's huge in the short term, but even in the long term, if you want to be a playoff team, these are the type of tiebreaker games that decide things.
Yeah, and I think it was Jet X Factor who put out a post that I agree with, and it's like if they can't win games like this, then I won't even be disappointed by the fact that they missed the playoffs by 1 game, because you weren't going to do anything in the playoffs anyway. If you can't win, like this is a playoff game, truly. If you can't go into Pittsburgh and be either one of Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, I think Mike Tomlin might be playing some games. I'm not fully confident on who it's going to be until we see post kickoff, but you're 2-point favorites on the road. You have 3 straight losses by 1 possession. You just added, Davante Adams. He's probably not, the top 3 receiver he was in 2020, but still comfortably a top 15 receiver in the NFL. You got to win this game, man. It's like if the vibes would be so different if they won that game against Buffalo and then they get Davante, because the whole thought, and I thought he was going to be here regardless, but the idea was like you're 7-4 and you're right neck and neck with the Bills, and Davante is that piece that could put you over the top. But now he's your lifeline to save your season. It's a little bit of a different flavor.
No doubt. No doubt. If you're watching live right now and you have a comment or a question for myself or the Buffalo Jet fan to address, super chat it in. Hey, reminder, we're going to be watching this essential playoff game tomorrow night. Jets at Steelers. We got a watch party planned at T-Squared Social. Space is still available. It's a free watch party. All you need to do to join us is RSVP. We're going to be giving away a Garrett Wilson jersey among the other giveaways we have planned for this one tomorrow. So join us. Party starts at 7. Kickoff just after 8 for the Jets and the Steelers. If you've never been to T-Squared before, it is just 5 minutes from Grand Central Station in Midtown Manhattan, meaning you can take the train in from Long Island, Westchester, Jersey. Come join us and watch the Jets, hopefully, save their season altogether. BJF, I want to get into the comments made yesterday by Mike Williams, because it felt like when he didn't practice for 2 days this week, following what happened on Monday, he was a goner. But this was Mike Williams, who was back at practice yesterday, who, according to Jeff Ulbrich, will be active and will be out there playing on Sunday night, tomorrow night, a.k.a. This was Mike Williams being asked about playing in this one tomorrow.
I came here for a reason. I'm here, so I'm excited for, this weekend. Finish, preparation tomorrow, play Sunday night.
I mean, he looks like he's like being held hostage as he's answering these questions, but he said the right thing there, I guess, right? He's excited to be here, which, okay. And he's going to be out there tomorrow. Are you surprised that it appears, at least for now, Mike Williams is not going anywhere?
I thought when there was the 2 straight days where he didn't practice for a personal reason, I honestly thought he would never practice or play as a Jet again. That was kind of just my hunch. But I would like to keep Mike Williams. I know that there's a human element to this, and now if maybe he doesn't want to be a wide receiver 4 because Adams and Garrett Wilson are definitely ahead of him. And I think, Lazard, who, I ripped pretty extensively last year. I think all Jet fans did. I know the drops are there, but he's also made some pretty big time plays. He's got like 5 touchdowns. He's on pace for over 1,000 yards. So right now, clearly, Williams would not be in the top 3 of the pecking order. And so maybe he and his agent want to go somewhere else to try and put some production out there to get one more contract. But if he's willing to stay in a reduced role, I say you keep him. And people will say, oh, well, great. So he can go out there and run the wrong route again. It's like, okay, well, no, accountability, great. He's getting like demoted essentially. But still, I mean, Jake, if it's one of these guys twists an ankle, Alan Lazard twists an ankle, and you're going out there in 11 personnel, 4th quarter, got to have it drive. Do you want to have Xavier Gibson, Malachi Corley, Irv Charles, or Mike Williams out there? To me, it's still Mike Williams. Not even close, honestly. I mean, this is a player who 2 weeks ago we were talking about maybe he would leapfrog Lazard as the wide receiver 2. Now that he's getting more off the ACL, more healthy, he needs to get more targets. And then, yes, he makes 2 critical mistakes, which are they matter a ton. And if he gets less targets because of it, so be it. But I think the pendulum has swung too far, where it's like, let's not act like we can't have any use for this guy. It's okay to have good depth.
100%. And like my big thing is know your history, Jets. It'd be so Jet-like now after adding Davante Adams for Garrett Wilson to sprain an ankle and be out. And then you need Mike Williams anyway. Like, and I hate to think that way, but I'm sorry. I'm a Jet fan, and this team has beaten me to a point where I have to think that way. I don't understand this. Oh, we got to do right by the player. No. Mike Williams signed a contract. He's run the wrong routes. He is under contract to the New York Jets. Unless I'm trading Mike Williams for something that's going to help me win this season when I'm all in after firing the head coach 5 games in, and I'm trading for Davante Adams at 2-4, I'm not trading the guy because he makes you better. And the point you make is spot on. If there is an injury to the big 3 that they have at receiver, now Xavier Gibson's playing instead of Mike Williams, which makes no sense. So unless I'm trading Mike Williams for, Nathan Shepard with the Saints and getting a big, run stuffing defensive tackle that's going to help me, I'm not dealing the guy. He's under contract. And the trade deadline, by the way, is not till November 5th. So I don't see any rush to jettison a guy who I still believe can help you because he offers something that no other receivers in that room besides Lazard have, that big size that, I don't know, maybe they should tap into in the red zone where they've struggled. Just a thought.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that too, because I try to be like pro player. I mean, at the end of the day, it's millionaires versus billionaires, so whatever. But when players underperform, like they never give the money back, right? So he signed a contract to be employed by the New York Jets, and there's not going to be a big market for him. I saw you on Twitter, and somebody was like, "Well, what if we get a third?" It's like, dude, you're not getting a 3rd round pick for Mike Williams. This is going to be like Mike Williams and a 6th for a 5th or something like that. Like he's not going to have a ton of trade value, and the way they did his contract, it's not going to give you a ton of cap relief to where you can go do something else with that anyway. So to me, yeah, I fully agree. I'd stash him. And I personally, with the way our tight ends have played, any tight end not named Tyler Conklin, I'd rather have 4 receivers out there with the way our tight end depth has played in both phases.
Completely agree. Now, the other aspect of this Mike Williams story is obviously what Rodgers said after the game and people saying he threw him under the bus. And, how is that dynamic between Rodgers and Williams. So Mike Williams was asked about it yesterday. Here's Mike Williams being asked if he was upset about the criticism from Aaron Rodgers.
He made that public?
No. I just got to be on the red line.
Did you and Aaron have to talk after Monday night at all about that last play and what he said after the game?
Yeah. But I mean, we all watch film, we all go through it, and make the corrections. So, yeah, I mean, play football.
Did he reach out to you? Was it one of those things where he talked to you personally one-on-one?
Yeah.
So that's Mike Williams addressing that. You know what I go back to, BJF? Do you remember the scene in Hard Knocks last summer when Randall Cobb is leading a meeting with all the wide receivers saying, Aaron Rodgers will not throw you the ball if you're not in the right spot. He does not like throwing interceptions. He will not look your way if you don't know where to go. I think we've seen that now. I think that's why Rodgers was so pissed, because the last 2 weeks he's been responsible for interceptions that I think if we were in that meeting room, it was Mike Williams not running the right route or being in the right spot with the game on the line.
Yeah, and even like his buddy Lazard, who has the drop problem, if Lazard drops a pass on 1st and 10, you got 2nd and 10. But if you run the wrong route and now it's resulting in picks, like it's a whole different ball game. So that's definitely true. We've seen that. I mean, Mike's a pro. That's a nice hat he's got, by the way, too. Mike's a pro. I got no problem with how he handled it with Rodgers. Like, I mean, if you watch the whole thing, he started off by saying, oh, he has to play better, and he mentioned specifically missing Garrett Wilson the week before. And then a reporter asked him what happened. And he was like, what about the play? And it was like 3 follow-up questions. And then he specifically said what happened. So if you'd prefer your quarterback not go into that much detail about it, like that's fine. We don't have to be the Aaron Rodgers PR team. But at the end of the day, we gripe about not having accountability on the team, right? We don't have accountability. We don't have accountability. And then you get accountability and it's not in the exact way you want. And it's like, oh, he's throwing him under the bus. And it's like, dude, we got to pick a side. I mean, when's the last time the Jets have rostered a quarterback that would even know that? I've never heard of the red line until this, this, because we don't have quarterbacks. What's the red line? They don't even know what routes are supposed to be run. We actually have a quarterback where precision matters.
Well, we usually have quarterbacks who don't even know where the first down line is.
Yeah. Or offensive coordinator or play callers either, which, by the way, Todd Downing, I think there's some encouraging signs there. But yeah, Mike Williams is a pro. I think he would probably, if it was up to him, he'd rather go elsewhere, not because of that comment, but because there's probably wide receiver rooms that are less deep where he can get more targets and make more money. But we'll see what happens. Unless he's like completely pitching a fit about it, then I would just keep him.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching the show live, click the like button, subscribe to my channel and the Buffalo Jet Fans channel. He's one of the best Jet content creators you are going to find. I want to shout out a couple people who became Asmaniacs during the show. We're always looking for more channel members. Selena Blakely became a Jake Asman channel member. Chris Cortez did as well. Thank you to both of you for your incredible support. If you want to be an Asmaniac, click the join button and sign up and get all the perks you get with your membership. Turn on gift receipts. You never know when someone might make it rain. You know, BJF, when it comes to this game tomorrow, I think the biggest thing the Jets have to do, besides the obvious, hey, score more points than Pittsburgh and get a win, I think it comes down to pass protection, because I just think talent-wise, this offense for the Jets is good enough if they keep Rodgers clean to be able to score at least 20-something points. And I think 20 is probably the number where if I say you get the 20, that should be enough against Pittsburgh. How do you view the game script for this game, what it will take for the Jets to win tomorrow night?
Well, I remember there was a game a couple of years ago that was coordinated by Mike LaFleur, who we probably remember a little bit more fondly now after the Nate Hackett experience. But it was a game against the Cleveland Browns. Do you remember the Joe Flacco comeback with Garrett Wilson's touch in the end zone? I think it was like early in 2022.
Sure.
For that entire game, whatever side Myles Garrett was on, Tyler Conklin just motioned over, and Tyler Conklin and the left and right tackle both made contact with Myles Garrett literally every single pass rep. Now, sometimes he would chip and release, sometimes straight up double team, whatever the case may be. But Michael LaFleur made a decision in that game that Myles Garrett is not going to ruin the game. Interestingly enough, Myles Garrett did blow through a double team once and get a sack, but it was his only sack of the game, and it worked. And that's what I would do. Like, there is not a tackle that we roster that can handle. I don't know if there's maybe there's 1 or 2 tackles in the NFL you like one-on-one versus TJ Watt. Now they get Highsmith back. So that's the first game. If they're going to beat us, have it not be by TJ Watt wrecking the game. If it sacrifices you one less eligible receiver, I'd rather Aaron Rodgers with less eligibles with time to make a decision rather than TJ Watt just blowing it up. And I was digging through some of their analytics. The Bill or the Pittsburgh rather, once you can survive their initial pressure, like on dropbacks that go longer than like the normal 2.25 whatever seconds, the average release time, their stats are atrocious. So what that tells me is they are very like pass rush oriented, and if you could hold them up a little bit, that their secondary could be vulnerable. And now you have two guys in Garrett Wilson and Davante Adams, where it's like just pick your hot route. You know what I mean? Like, where's the safety? Oh, shaded towards Davante. Cool. 3 yards to Garrett Wilson, and on the other side. Now they do have a great run defense. Man, I know you want to stay patient with the run, but there was part of me that felt like during stretches of this season, and you never know because you pop a Brees explosive and it changes your attitude. But there's been parts of this season where the run game has been so inept that I'm like, shit, man, just give Rodgers 3 throws. Give Rodgers 3 throws to get a first down. I felt that way sometimes. Like you hand it off the Hall and there's no blocking and it's like 2nd and 9 and it kind of feels like a wasted down. I do wonder if they'll try to lean a little bit more pass heavy because the offense was. I know we only scored 20 points against the Bills, but to me, it felt like every time we had the ball, if we didn't do something stupid, we were going to score. And even on that last possession, where I felt like if we stopped the Bills and got that ball back and had 4 downs to work with in 2 minutes, I felt confident we were going to take it down the field to win that game. I can't remember the last time I felt that way about a Jets offense. So I would leave this one in Aaron Rodgers' hands. I know you want to be balanced, but if you're giving him match protection, I would not mind 35 plus throws from Rodgers in this game.
Put Olu in as an extra blocker over some of these tight ends who are giving you nothing right now. And just say, hey, we have Davante, we have Garrett Wilson. Even Lazard is competent because he knows where Aaron wants the ball to be. You have Brees, and just take some chances, man. And by the way, we were talking about Mike Williams to open this show. How about a bomb to Mike Williams? Fly route Mike. That's what he was supposed to do. Like, just to open some things up, man. Like, to me, I know you want to run the ball, but the Steelers are elite at stopping the run, so use the pass to set up the run. And use Brees as a weapon out of the backfield. That, to me, has got to be the strategy. And you brought up Downing earlier, BJF. I'll say this. I'm not telling you he's the next Sean McVay for the Jets, but he is so much better than Nate Hackett. If he could have another competent play calling like game, there's no reason why the Jets can't get to 21 points, which I think is enough to beat the Steelers.
Yeah, it's amazing how different it was right away. It was the best offensive, even versus the Patriots. I still feel like that was the crispest the offense has been able to move the ball. We just had like some penalties, a couple were bad calls, and then the red zone was kind of tough. But it reminds me of like John Simpson isn't great, but when you go from Laken Tomlinson to John Simpson, like when you go from atrocious to like decent, it makes a big difference, and that's Hackett to Downing. So looking forward to him getting more comfortable, a little bit more motion. He scrapped the heavy tight end sets because that's what we were doing in the beginning of games. We'd come out with like 17 freaking tight ends, and it's like, oh, I wonder what they're going to do. And it's like a handoff to Brees Hall up the middle. And they do that. They seem to play so tight. And then all of a sudden they're down by 10, and then they start spreading things out, and they're going empty, and Rodgers is really taking over. And then the offense starts. It's like, why don't we just do that? Just do that from the beginning of the game. Why don't we just skip that step? Do what you're going to do once you're down. And that's how it felt right from the beginning. And they were able to get the play call in faster. It sounds so rudimentary, but dude, you remember Sean Payton saying how like they couldn't get a play in Denver, and there was all those delay of games. And with Rodgers, it was like every play clock was down to the last second. And in this game, it was not nearly as much. And you saw Rodgers 2 games ago in London. He was going like this to Hackett, like, dude, I need to play. We got 12 seconds. So he just, at least if you just had a random person just like click buttons on the play sheet to get it in time, it might have been an upgrade over Hackett. It's unbelievable how long he was employed. But thank God that's over, man. Let's let Todd Downing cook.
If you're watching this live right now and you're one of the 600 people in here, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, we hit over 39,000 earlier in the week. Let's get the 40K. Jet fans, we're all in this together. Subscribe to my channel and the Buffalo Jet fans channel. I want to talk specifically about Davante Adams, and it's a perfect segue here because today's Jake Asman show is presented by Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Asman and be a new customer and deposit to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Here are Davante's numbers on Underdog Fantasy. I want to ask your take on the expectations for him. These are the numbers here, right? I mean, 0.5 higher or lower on a reception touchdown. His receiving yards number is 48.5. His longest reception is 20.5. I do see Davante Adams making a bunch of big plays in this game tomorrow night. In context of what he's projected to do from a stat perspective, BJF, break down what you expect from Davante in this one.
I think that bigger picture from here to the end of the season, I think he'll be the most targeted player in the offense. I think he's going to be, all due respect to Garrett Wilson, I think he is going to be the quote unquote wide receiver one. If you want to call it 1A, that's fine. But those seem about right to me. I really don't know what to expect. I don't know if it's just the Jet fan in me, but I think he's going to just jump in right away and they're going to be good to go. And he's going to be a huge part of this offense. Like, I guess touchdowns are kind of hard to predict. The longest one that's kind of hard to predict, but I would go over the 48.5 yards receiving pretty comfortably, in my opinion.
And I think for those saying, well, Garrett Wilson's numbers are going to go down, I don't see it that way. I think if anyone's numbers are affected, it's probably Allen Lazard. I think what happens now is maybe the target share for Garrett goes down, but the efficiency goes up because Garrett Wilson is now facing your number 2 or number 3 corner. Davante is going to get the bulk of the attention, and Rodgers against man coverage this year is the lowest completion percentage of his career so far. That's because no one's separating besides Garrett Wilson. That game against the Vikings was eye-opening because he targeted him 22 times because he didn't trust anyone else, and Lazard had 4 drops on 6 targets that game. So, like, you look at this offense now, it's going to be heavy Davante, heavy Garrett, and then you're talking about other guys playing complementary roles off of that, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, Davante adds this offense needed this, and really with they need it because I don't think anyone saw Breece Hall just not being himself, and I can't speculate if he's injured, whatever the case may be. I know the offensive line has troubles, but the offensive line was worse last year. There were more stacked boxes last year. The quarterback was worse last year. He was closer to his ACL injury last year, and he was 4th in the NFL in scrimmage yards, was like a yard more per carry. So that, I think once that is like taken away from this offense of Breece being elite, now it's like, okay, we need something else. And right now, without Davante Adams, it's Garrett who is a good separator, but struggles a little bit at the catch point to make contested catches. And the rest of the guys are unathletic contested catch guys. Mike Williams, Lazard, Conklin, like Rucker, like none of these guys are really dynamic with the ball in their hands with Breece not at 100%. And what Adams gives you is kind of all of that. Like, he knows he's going to be in the right spot like Lazard, but he's going to actually catch it. And he's going to be like that catch that it would have been a great catch. I won't call it a drop, but the one in the end zone to Garrett where he got absolutely blown up. Like, Garrett's like 185 pounds, but Davante Adams can make those kind of catches. And he's going to give you a little bit more yak ability, which you're struggling with. So he is a really complete receiver that opens up everything else. You're right. They've been spamming Garrett with targets. It hasn't been efficient. So now I feel like Garrett is going to just get his yards more in the flow of the game and not have it to be like this forced thing where we're really trying to get Garrett Wilson involved. And so maybe instead of 9 catches on 20 targets, he gets 7 catches on 13 targets. And it's like really his production isn't dropping that much because he's going to be more efficient.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to some super chats here. First one is from Tyrone, who says, Jets should prepare for both quarterbacks. Mike T always switches it up on the Jets. Go Jets. Please win tomorrow. Now, it feels like Russell Wilson's going to start, but the latest report from Ian Rappaport was that we could see both quarterbacks see some action. So we could see Wildcat Fields and some plays for him. But I mean, George Pickens basically let it slip 30 minutes right after Mike Tomlin was like, I know the starter, but we're not going to announce who it is. And then Pickens revealed it when speaking with the media. So I do think it's going to be Russ. But, yeah, I mean, the Jets cannot be caught with their pants down in this one. They got to be ready for both guys potentially being out there.
No, and I think the Jets should be able to handle business either way. Careful what you wish for. I would prefer it to be Rush just because I think the way Fields can run the ball and how soft our run defense has been, I feel like Fields could cut us up for 80 yards and a touchdown on the ground. And Russell Wilson hasn't played football since week 15 of last year, so there might be some rust. So, but Rusty Rust. But I'm sure, if there's like a if they want to go for it on a 4th and 1, I wouldn't be surprised if they trot Fields out there.
I really can't believe they would make this type of change. It just seems like such an ass backwards approach by a Hall of Fame coach.
I haven't watched a lot of their games, but Fields' numbers look okay. Is he not? I thought he was playing okay.
He's not. He hasn't been great, but he leads the NFL among quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns and rushing first downs. So it's like,
and Russ sucked.
Like Russell Wilson's not any good, and like the Jets' run defense is their weakness. Their pass defense is the second best in the NFL. I know Carter and Reed likely aren't going to play, but still, the Jets seemingly figure it out. Like, to make this change now at 4-2. Brian Dable last year knew Tyrod Taylor was way better than Tommy DeVito. But when Tyrod was healthy, they stuck with DeVito because they were on a 3-game winning streak, and you didn't want to, make a change there. The Steelers are 4-2. Why would you make this change now?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Barbarossa in the house. Soto and Glaber, Jake. Let's go Jets and Yankees. Let's go, baby. Let's go. 1 win away from the World Series. Here we go. ISU writes in, BJF, is that play on your chalkboard a Hackett play? It looks fairly simplistic with no motion.
I think when I put this on there, it was actually a LaFleur play. But yeah, man. No, gosh. I'm so glad he's done being our coordinator, dude. I do wonder if like they made that move earlier. If you always wonder if they could have had one more win, but hey, better late than never. Well, hopefully I do wonder, like, are they ever gonna do a jet pitch when they do that motion like 27 times? Because they faked it like 146 times. I'm like, is Xavier Gibson ever gonna get one of those and get 8 yards on first down like every other team does?
Wouldn't that be nice? I will say this about Downing: the play call of using Braylon Allen as the fullback and then faking the toss to Priest, like that was creative. That was cool. Like really, this was a player loss on Monday, which is so frustrating. Like obviously we could point to Zerline missing 2 kicks, but opening drive, right? Brees, 3rd and 3, drops a pass that would have moved the chains inside the 10, kept that drive rolling. We know about Garrett Wilson unable to hold on to that touchdown on the throw that Rodgers made. Tough play, but number 1 wide receiver, you would hope he could come down with that. The penalty by Tyron Smith, these were very specific things that happened that ruined great drives that the coaching staff, Downing, aka, put the Jets in position to execute on. It's beyond frustrating.
Yeah, I honestly felt the way after the Minnesota game too. I know I said, look, we all know that this Jets coaching staff is not going to have many advantages. But even though going back to the Minnesota game, it's like you could tally up like 28 points easily with like Sauce dropping the pick or Rodgers missing the throw. There's so many plays like that. Yeah, for sure. The execution was an issue. I actually didn't mind the flea flicker. I know it's one of those things where it's like it didn't work, so now it stalled the game, the drive. But it's like we're begging for creativity. I don't know, somebody freaking block for 2 seconds so Rodgers can at least have a chance to throw it away if nothing's open. So I didn't mind that either. And yeah, like the fullback belly just feels like obvious things that weren't being tried or done, and now he's got a whole nother week. And then eventually there will be a bounce back where defenses can adjust to what he's doing. But I think in the short term, like the first 2 to 3 games, you kind of have that advantage where like, a pitcher hasn't been seen around the MLB or whatever. Now we'll see how Downing uses this personnel, because it wasn't that horrible in his previous stops. Like compared to Hackett, he was better, and he's always been able to have an average run game, which I'm hoping we can get started here, because that is one area of the offense I will put on coaching, because you can't tell me that the offensive linemen that we have and the running backs that we have, that we can't run the ball at all. Like, I'm just not buying that. It's got to be a schematic issue.
Sears writes in, hey, BJF, is Will McDonald good at football?
Yeah, he's good, man. He's definitely a good pass rusher, right? Against the run. He's still struggling. Ulbrich said he's up to like almost 250 pounds. Yeah, I'll take the under on that, Jeff. But dude, the pass rush tools are obviously nasty, man. The kid's getting like a sack a game. Only him and Quinnen doing much on the defensive line, but he's definitely popped. I don't think we're pining for JSN and Broderick Jones as much anymore.
T Swizzle, better start Fashion or Rodgers leaving on a stretcher?
I mean, Fashion versus TJ Watt, it's probably gonna. But I will say, I think if Tyron Smith, dude, did you catch not only the holding, which was it was a hold, he clotheslined the guy. There was a play, a Breece Hall run in the 4th quarter. Where
he
Smith,
whiffed on the corner
he
coming in.
Just fell on wrap, and Breece might have scored. There was no one behind him. So it's like, I don't know if he's hurt or if just the age caught up to him, but I do think you might have to consider making that change if he continues to struggle.
What's crazy about Tyron Smith is there's not one person out there, anyone who watched this film, anyone who's a fan of the Dallas Cowboys who watched them every game, anyone who's a Jet fan that was excited about the signing, that ever was worried about, well, he's not good anymore. It was, well, we know he's not going to play every game, but when he's out there, he's still going to be a top tackle. He was 2nd team All-Pro last year in 13 games. The fact that he comes to the Jets and now looks like Mekhi Becton only what happened to the Jets. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's ironic because he hasn't missed a snap, but he's been terrible. When the worry was that he'd be like, you'd only get 9 or 10 games, it'd be all pro level games.
Which was Becton last year too, by the way. He played every game besides one, and then he sucked. It didn't matter.
And Smith is like on pace, like with the same as Becton with like the sack and penalty numbers. Yeah, and when people say with Keith like coaching, dude, Keith Carter's a bad coach, but Keith Carter is not the reason why Tyron Smith's legs aren't working anymore, and his lateral
Right.
agility is shot, and he's getting beat around the edge because John Simpson right next to him is having a career year. Yeah, it's goes back to the Reddick thing where it's like I don't know if it's the Jets' fault, but it could only happen to the Jets. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's just
And
wild.
I'm just so sick of it, man. Like, just win a football game, dude. Like, and like you said this earlier, and I said it on Twitter the other day. Like, seeing the highlight of Rodgers throwing to Davante in practice, like, could you imagine how this fan base would be feeling if they just had one more win right now? Even if they lost to the Buffalo game, let's say Zerline hit the kick against Denver,
Right.
and they're 3-3. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we're 3-3, but we're all in. We have a competent play caller now. We got Davante. Like, we're going on a run. But at 2-4, it's just like, you know, I'm not saying I'm not excited to watch Davante Adams. Of course I am, but like, you got to win tomorrow night. Otherwise, like, what are we talking about? About a 2-5 football team? Like, great. I don't care about one Jets drive hyping me up anymore. Win football games.
Yeah, I think too, like when we were in the offseason, when we were kind of talking about how the Jets are going to hedge the win now mode versus the future, and that was like leading into the draft selection of Olu. But I think like the thing we have to consider is the Jets. I think the Jets need to make the playoffs this year, or I think everybody might be gone from like Douglas to Ulbrich to Rodgers retiring. I don't know. So I think if they at least like you have to make the playoffs to try and run that back where now it's like, okay, now Douglas is still here. You know, who knows about coach, but then like at Rodgers and Davante are back where you get one more year. Even if you fall short in the playoffs and you have to tweak some things, maybe new coaching, whatever. But if you fall short of that goal, like everything might be torn down and we built this whole thing up for like one disappointing year. So you kind of have to win now to extend your future. You know what I mean?
Do you think if they make the playoffs, Ulbrich is back, or does he have to make the playoffs and win at least a playoff game?
I don't want to cop out, but I think we have to kind of see how it looks. To be honest, I do think just making the playoffs on its own is not enough to guarantee that the coach is back because it's such a big decision and commitment. And right now, you're rooting for him. If you were making betting odds, like he would have the plurality of the odds, but probably not the majority. The majority would be an outside hire. And also, if we're winning like Robert Saleh style, and the offense still isn't, and it's just this, it looks the same, but we just happen to be winning by like defense and Rodgers making some clutch throws. I can't sign up for 4 more years of football like that. So I think it depends, but also like, yeah, obviously if he makes the AFC Championship game, we lose to the Chiefs by a field goal. He's probably back. He's probably back no matter what. But I don't think just making the playoffs is enough, man, because there's 7 seeds now. Teams that aren't even that good get in. So just one and done is not good enough to me.
I could see 9-8 and Jets missing the playoffs, and we lament these brutal losses to Denver, Minnesota, Buffalo being the reason why.
Yeah, it's hard enough. Now you got to go steal one, right? You got to go win a game that maybe you got to go win at Buffalo, right? You got, and there's not really that many games on the schedule that the Jets are going to be underdogs in. They're going to be. I'm like looking at the schedule now, and I really think the game at the Buffalo Bills is the only game. Maybe the Texans, but it's at home, so that'll probably be like a pick 'em. Maybe the Jets or Texans will get a point at most either way. But other than that, yeah, the Jets are going to be favored in all these games besides maybe 1 or 2.
Only the Jets. Best 2-4 team ever, as you put it the other day.
Yeah, there are some analytics that back that up too. Like the Jets are they're like the only team that's 2 games below 500 but has a positive point differential and there's stuff like that. Just like, oh, come on, man. Come on. It's almost more frustrating knowing that we're decent. Like it was easier to lose when we know we just sucked.
100%. Like we know what bad teams look like. What's frustrating about this team is I really don't think they're a bad team. They haven't won. Like they're just like only the Jets could have Greg Zuerlein hit kicks that don't mean anything the last 2 years, and now he can't hit anything. It's like if he was just the Greg Zuerlein of last year, as bad as they played in some of these games, they have at least 1 more win, if not 2 more wins.
Yeah, and he's money when he was tanking our draft stock, right? Against the Commanders. He's hitting like a 60-yard walk-off in the rain. And now it's the turn of luck too, because also you get 2 years of like a top 5 defense that's fully healthy without a quarterback. Now the quarterback comes back and JJ down, DJ Reed down, CJ Mosley down, Chuck Clark to IR, Reddick is like cosplaying in Japan or whatever. So it's like, oh man, it's just a brutal turn of luck. But yeah, man, win these next 2 games. I think the saving grace is even if you don't believe in the Jets, there's not a lot of teams in the AFC to believe in. Like there's going to be a team that's massively flawed that gets in. Like Bo Nix might be the worst quarterback in the NFL, genuinely, Jake. And I know that you and I are pretty aligned on Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is better than Bo Nix right now. Like if I was the Broncos and I had to win one game to save my life, I would play Zach Wilson over Bo Nix. So they might get in. I mean, the Colts, the Chargers, the Steelers who are changing quarterbacks. Like one of these massively flawed teams is going to get in. So if the Jets win on Sunday, then they would have as just as good a chance as anybody else.
No doubt.
But I do think the division took a big hit though on Monday night, putting yourself 2.5 games back. Truly.
Yeah, I mean that's like I'm not even thinking about the division. I'm thinking about like just saving our season Sunday, and we'll go from there. Now, this was a photo the Jets posted today. Like I want to be excited. Like look at this. We got Sauce against Davante in practice now, and like remember, I go back to training camp this summer. I was at 5 practices. Every practice I was at, the best player on offense for the Jets was Garrett Wilson, and a lot of times it's because he's going up against the Jets' number 2 corner in DJ Reed. Now Garrett, for the most part, is going to face a number 2 corner week in, week out. Like, I think this is going to be massive for him. But just seeing this photo is so surreal. And it's just painful that I can't truly enjoy this unless they win tomorrow night. Like, I hope Davante balls and they win so we can truly celebrate the fact they got a Hall of Fame wide receiver to pair with the Hall of Fame quarterback for just a 3rd-round pick. Because it's a no-brainer to make this move. But I want it to pay off. Please win tomorrow so they're not 2-5.
Yeah, and I think like the Davante Adams trade, it definitely is. It's pretty low risk. I mean, it's a 3rd-round pick, and then the rest of his money for this year. And I know people will say, "Well, does it fix the run? Does he play left tackle?" And no, but at the end of the day, do you want the Jets to try to improve the team? And my answer is yes. And he was probably the best player that they could reasonably affordably get. Like if we could trade a 3rd-round pick for Penei Sewell, I would rather do that. If we could trade a third-round pick for TJ Watt, I would rather do that, but you can't do that. So he was the best player available that you could get that could help this team right now. And furthermore, I go back to the general manager who I think will deserve credit if this team turns it around. But you got people don't want to hear a word criticizing JD. No, he's great. We have to keep him forever. But then you'll tell me that this team isn't a top 15 receiver and in Davante Adams and a double-digit sack artist in Hassan Reddick away from being a playoff team in his 6th season. How can those 2 things be true? How can you be in your 6th season and if you're a good GM and your team is still not an elite wide receiver and a top-flight pass rusher away from being one of the 7 teams that scrape into the playoffs in the conference? That is cognitive dissonance. So if JD is a good GM, let him cook. Let's go get Davante. Let's get Reddick's ass in here too, and let's win some games.
Oh, nice.
Oh, baby. Brazil Jets has gifted a channel membership. It went to listener Dante. Dante, congratulations. All right, let's get to some calls with BJF before we wrap up a Saturday show. Ladies and gentlemen, he's working on a Saturday like we are. We say hello to this guy.
The only thing better than Alden shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
What's up, my fellas?
Mr. Boney.
Jake. My boys. It's good. So,
Good to see
hey,
you,
man. I'm kind of with Buffalo Jet fan with Mike Williams. I don't think we should get rid of him. I think we should give him some more time to sit back and get comfortable on the same page.
How to do that.
Sorry, that's my alarm thing. I think Mike Williams has made. I know he's cost us 2 games, obviously, with Minnesota with the interception and now this past red line game. But he had a couple big catches for us as well. I remember in the Tennessee game, he had a huge 2nd and long catch, contested catch, big time drive for the. He has the potential to play well and make some catches for us. Obviously, Rodgers is very demanding with wanting to be on the same page. You mentioned it with Randall Cobb talking about it, and you see how he feeds Lazard. It's going to be the same thing with Adams now. So God forbid, Jets luck. We'll trade Mike Williams for what? It was just like last year where everyone wanted to get rid of Lazard. It was like, for what? That's Rodgers' boy. He's on the same page. Like, we're going to get rid of Mike Williams for to move down from the 6th to the 5th, and then what happens? I would keep him unless he really wants to get out of here. Like, because if he's pushing the envelope, Joe D will get rid of you like he did Elijah, and when someone wants out, he'll do it. But I'd keep him over to the Davante. I'm still interested to see how, like, when we come out on first down, how are they going to put 8 in the box and leave Davante and Garrett in one-on-one coverage? They're both one-on-one man killers. Like, Garrett's been facing double brackets. He's been getting double teamed. So they're focusing on him. So now that you have 2 of them, I'm interested to see how they stack the box, because I'm also with Buffalo Jeff fan what he said earlier about sometimes you just want to abandon the run. Like, let the pass open up the run. Give Rodgers 3 times to pass it, and maybe once you complete a couple, then you can come out in 3 wide receiver, tight end, shotgun, and do a couple handoff draws just to get those 4 or 5 yards. Because let the pass open up the run, because we're gonna have to play to the team's strengths. And now with Davante, I mean, I don't see how you can just sit in cover 2 shell and we're not gonna be able to run the ball, and. Sunday night, this is a must-win for us. We cannot fall 2-5. We have to get to that Texans game to 4-4. This is a big game for us. I'm still weary about why they're going to Russell Wilson. I'm nervous. It's like, what do they know that we don't? Why are you switching where it seems like all of us, why do we all think Justin Fields would torch us, and then they're going to put in Russell Wilson, he's got a little mobility, but he's not going to do what, he's going to be more in the pocket, and that'll help us. So I'm still wondering what's going to happen with that, but I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped that we got Davante, and I just want to shout out Isaiah Oliver for being that Swiss Army knife and being a great, we haven't heard, Michael Carter hasn't played. And we haven't really gotten killed in the slot. He's done a great job because, Clark's down, so Ashton Davis can't tackle. So you're seeing the weaknesses there. But I love that Isaiah Oliver is stepping up and playing well. And let's go Eccles. Let's go Eccles. Love you.
Are you bricked up, Bonesy? You believe?
I am bricked up. Brick better stop the run, and I better see Quinnen do something, because I'm sick of giving Quinnen these excuses of, you're getting double teamed. Like, yo, man. Every all-star top 3 defensive tackle gets double teamed. Just make a play. Just blow up a run. I love when Brick said we're not going to play. We're going to start like being aggressive, and we're not going to let the play come to us. And I like that. We got to stop the run.
Let's get bricked up.
Let's go, baby. I'm bricked up. I got my brick for the 2nd week in a row. I'm hoping this brick gets to 1-1 tomorrow night.
The production value of the show, Jake, is unmatched.
Let's go, baby. Let's keep it rolling with some calls here before we say goodbye to the Buffalo Jet fan. Let's go to the Hamburger, who's next. Hamburger, what do you got for us?
Yo, what's up? Big win last night for the Mets. Keep it going.
Staying alive, baby. Back to L.A.
Yeah, man. I'm very pumped. The day off today, I'm out. Same brother that had the wedding on the Super Bowl had the birthday party at Saturday morning at 9:30 at some stupid thing all the way out in Long Island. He really just does it well, man. I can tell you. Yeah, man. I'm getting pumped up for Sunday night. I'm pumped up, but I am also apprehensive. I really believe, though. I think I think Davante Adams makes that big difference this weekend. I really do. I think you're gonna have two deep safeties now. You're gonna open up the middle of the field. You're gonna get a lot of crossing routes from Garrett. Short gain yardage out of Davante Adams right off the line if they try to blitz. I think he answers a lot of issues that we have. Yeah, I'm still a little bricked up, man. I can't wait for Sunday night. Can't wait to meet everybody and bring some energy. And now we get to watch 2 games, so I get that diarrhea at the same time. So it's gonna be fun.
Hamburger, great call, man. That's awesome. He's right about that. I mean, the Met Jet fans going to be going through it tomorrow night. If you're coming to the watch party, now that it is confirmed, Mets Game 6 is tomorrow. We will have the Mets on many of the TVs at the same time as the Jets. And in fact, during commercial breaks for the Jets, we'll get the Met sound on, and there's going to be a specific area of the bar where the Met sound will be on. And then also most of the bar will be the Jets. So if you're the Jet Met fan, come out and watch both at the same time with all of us tomorrow night. RSVP with the link in the description. You know, one thing about this game, tomorrow night, BGF, when it comes to like Russell Wilson and then maybe Justin Fields still being used in some packages. Hey, earth to Michael Clemens. If you see Justin Fields out there, expect him to run the football, set the mother effing edge. Thank you.
Yeah, man. That was so frustrating because I obviously, the games I probably catch the most of besides Jets games or Bills games for obvious reasons. And I know in those moments, they always put the ball in Allen's hands. Whether it's a pass option, whether he's just see something's downfield and just slide down to keep the clock ticking, there was no chance in hell he was handing off that ball. And everyone knew it besides Michael Clemens.
Just pathetic.
Reddick probably at least gives you a chance there.
And Jermaine makes that play. So,
oh yeah, of course.
Brutal. King Lowski is next. What's up, King Lowski? Love the Yankee hat.
Jake, my brother, BJF, Buffalo Jag fan, my brother. It's always good to see you fellas, man. Shout out to the best hitters in baseball, baby. Let me start off by saying that. Let me say this, man. The more I think about this game, and the more I think about what Pittsburgh is about to do to us, man, it's a real slap in the face. And the defense should really take it as a freaking slap in the face to start a quarterback against a defense that's ranked top 5, okay? And a quarterback that hasn't played all season, to start them against us should be a real slap in the face, okay? And the defense should take it as that. All right. Now these cats is 4-2, and we going into their crib, and they could just do whatever the hell they want to us. All right. Now the players should really take that as disrespect. All right. Now I want to win Sunday night. Okay. I'm fired up, baby. I'm bricked up. Let's go, baby. Let's get this done. Because at the end of the day, man, I take this as respect and a real slap in the face to the DTF. Yes. Okay, let's get this win, baby. Yes. Let's go.
Let's get bricked up.
Yeah. King Lowski firing us up, Buffalo Jet fan.
Always can count on him for that.
All right, we'll do 2 more with BJF here. Indomitable is next. What's up, Indomitable?
What's up, Jake? What's going on, Buffalo Jet fan?
What's up, dude?
Hey, Jake, I remember last week, a couple of days before the game, you said that you hoped that we could get the coin toss and receive first in order to try to score a touchdown first and, get the game going. And we were not able to do that. I think that is imperative for tomorrow night. It has been a constant for the past 3 years that we have a lot of slow starts. So I think that even showing dominance or taking like 6-7 minutes off the clock and getting a field goal, something that kind of like sets the tone for the rest of the night. Because other than the Patriots game, I think that we have been very pedestrian in terms of putting our identity on the field and setting the tone for the whole game. I mean, look at the Tennessee Titans game. We had to come from behind on the second half, and on other games we haven't been able to start fast. So. And by starting fast, it doesn't mean that we have to score 21 points off the get-go, but at least kind of like show dominance and make us our presence felt down in Pittsburgh tomorrow night. So I hope that we win, because there is a big difference between being 3-4 and 2-5, moving forward. And if we can get to that Texans game 4-4, it could be a whole another season after that. And have a great day, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and go Yankees, man.
And Dom will appreciate you. Yeah, the Jets have not won one coin toss all year. I actually wouldn't mind putting the defense on the field first, because then you could double up at the end of the half and then start of the third quarter. But the point Indomitable made as far as like putting points on the board early, well, they put a field goal on the board early on Monday, but it should have been 7. Brees, his drop killed that drive. They need an opening drive touchdown. That's what they need. Not field goal. Go down the field, put 7 on the board, and set the tone that this offense, with Downing now as the play caller and Davante being added to it, is now different.
Yeah, I would agree that with Indomitable, that the only game where the Jets have come out and dictated the terms of the game in all phases was the Patriots game. It seems like the Jets, for the most part, have been like trying to react and counterpunch and adjust to what the opponent is doing, and they haven't imposed their will on a team besides that one game. And this is the game to do it, man. The defensive line, like that film session, is going to be brutal. I was like, are they on skates? I mean, you hear that as a term, but like all of them. And with Quinnen, like we all get it. Quinnen has been a great player. I was all for, he earned his contract. Even last year, he had 5 sacks. Don't care. He was dominant. He had like 70 pressures. He was just as good last year. I don't care about his sacks. And I understand the supporting cast is not the same. He can play better. He can absolutely impact the game more as an individual. I know he can. We're going to need him to. Like Kinlaw, I mean, it was Buffalo they obliterated us up front. We looked so soft and the tackling was bad. So the defense should come out with a chip on their shoulder and understand that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to try to do the same thing and prove that you're not a soft unit. Because that was the worst defensive line performance I've seen on this team since like 2021, since the defense has been good. So they have to atone for that for sure.
Mr. Bonesy writes in, Quinnen needs to get pissed again and start yelling. Remember when he got mad on the sideline and told Brick to stop blitzing? Yeah, I would like that version of Quinnen Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. And they need some help. They need some other person besides Quinnen, and Will McDonald has to win a rep every now and then.
Yvonne with a super chat here. He writes in the following. Kind of Bush League how A-Rod picks and chooses who he calls out. Mike Williams been bad, but Tyron Smith has been objectively worse. Why won't he call him out? Couple things here. One, you're not going to see the quarterback call out the Hall of Fame left tackle. It's just not going to happen. He has too much respect for the player. And two, Tyron Smith's issues aren't mental mistakes. They're physical mistakes. He's just getting beat. Mike Williams not knowing where to be on game-winning plays, not being in the right spot, those are mental errors that if he just knew his assignment, he doesn't make those mistakes. Like, I don't think Rodgers is going to call out a guy if, like, a guy, has a physical mistake, right? Because, like, that could happen. But when you're not in the right spot, that's the problem. I think that's why that chapped Rodgers so much.
Yeah, and anything that leads to the turnovers. There was a point in last year where he was being towards the end of training camp, and then even post-injury, he was asked a couple times about the offensive line. And he specifically said the tackle play has to be better. Like he said, the interior is doing okay, but the tackles have to be better. He didn't say Dwayne Brown by name, but that was after a game where Dwayne Brown got beat pretty bad. So I don't know if Tyron Smith gives up 4 sacks and Rodgers is specifically asked a question about Tyron Smith, I'm not positive that he wouldn't say that it has to be better. He probably would
too. Like the Mike Williams stuff, he was asked very specifically, hey, what happened on that play? And he was just honest. He's like, he didn't run the right route. He explained the red line stuff. And turns out Rodgers was right because Mike Williams even acknowledged that yesterday. So it's like, I think it's a good point. If he's asked specifically about Tyron Smith, I do wonder what he would say. Hopefully Tyron Smith just plays better. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, that would be ideal.
One last call for the Buffalo Jet fan, then I'll stay on for the rest. Phenom is next. What's up, Phenom?
What's up, guys? I think you guys have said it, but setting the tone has to happen on offense and defense. I mean, Jets have run defense have been almost atrocious. 175 carries for 745 yards, 4.3 average. That's not going to work against the Pittsburgh Steelers or any real good offense in the NFL. And our ability to run the football hasn't been great either. I have the stats here too, and they don't look very good. And Pittsburgh can run the football. So, again, I agree with you guys, but the Jets have been playing sloppy football. How many penalties? How many times are we going to shoot ourselves in the foot?
Amen.
This is not winning football. What we're watching. Aaron Rodgers is a part of the problem too. So nobody gets a pass. All these guys are under the gun. It's because this is not what we expected. But of course, that's why we watch, because we think we know what's going to happen, but that doesn't always happen. So, whoever's on the field tomorrow first better set the tone. The defense can't give up, 15 play, 80-yard drive, and the offense can't go on the field and go 3 and out. So somebody better set the tone. All this hype will mean nothing.
Amen, Phenom. Amen. I love it. Hey, BJF, you and I were talking about this off air. Like, if they lose tomorrow and they're 2-5, I don't think either of us can ever get excited about a future Jets season. Because, like, if not now, then when with this team? Like, it's insane.
No, and look, my goal for the Jets heading into the year was be a playoff team and be someone that no one wants to play in the playoffs. Like, that was my bare minimum expectation. Thought they had a chance at the division, but even the most negative of Jet fans, I don't think anybody would have predicted a 2-5 start from this team of being like on a track to be worse than they were the last 2 years without Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, man, if they go to 2-5 and this bottoms out, then there's like dark days ahead where you don't even know who's your quarterback, who's your coach. Then you have to pay Sauce, you have to pay Garrett. Now you're going to have to try and win games with them counting heavily against your cap instead of being for, really cheap on the rookie deals. So the Jets made this bet to go all in, and yeah, they have to have something to show for it, man. And it has to start tomorrow.
With that said, Jets win tomorrow by how many, Buffalo Jet fan?
So I will say the Jets win. I'll say 23-16.
23-16 Jets. Davante Adams, does he find the end zone?
Yeah, we'll say Davante. I think, you know what? Let's say Davante Adams scores the first touchdown of the game. How about
wow. That? Oh, the drama.
There we go. Let's get it out of the way.
Let's go, baby. PJF, if people don't know where to find you, where can they find you?
Buffalo Jet fan, YouTube, Twitter. By the way, my backup guess is Solomon Thomas. If it's not Davante Adams, it'll be Solly Thomas scoring the first touchdown of the game, right? You got that. Got to have the Solly Thomas package in there.
The play action to Solly, baby. It's unstoppable.
You guys are the best, man. Thanks for having me, Jake.
Buffalo Jet fan, checking in. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. He is one of the greats. Ladies and gentlemen, reminder, we got a watch party tomorrow night. Davante will be in Pittsburgh, in the end zone, and we'll be going crazy, and it will look like this. That is what 500 Asmaniacs look like watching a Jet game all together. We'll see you tomorrow night. It will be wild. In fact, I even invited the former head coach of the New York Jets, Robert Saleh, will join us. He's back from his trip to Whole Foods, and he'll be hanging out with us at T-Squared.
Hey, Coach. How you doing? How you feeling after everything this week? Well, we saw Coach Belichick and the Mannings kind of give some support for you yesterday. How did that feel? Do you feel like your Lebanese flag had anything to do with what happened? Can we see you on a sideline soon?
God willing.
All right, I like that. Have a good one, Coach.
The TMZ has no shame, man. No shame. Good job by Saleh handling it. Let the guy live. Good God. Let the man live. Ladies and gentlemen, Guaranteed Jet has become a channel member. He did it. He said, I don't want someone to gift it for me. I'm going to pay for my own membership. And he did it. Boom. Hit the like button if you're tuning in right now. For those of you who want a Davante Adams jersey, I'll send you a link where you can get it for $30 if you join the Patreon. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. You'll get access to our Discord where you can message me there. You'll get 15% off every item in the Jake Asman merch store. You will get bonus shows that are not available on YouTube and a whole lot more. And if you join the Discord, you could argue with Gary about nonsense. Maybe that's not a great selling point, but you get the point. Anyway, comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Last chance to get in here. JT is up next on the Gusbuster Hotline. JT, what do you got for us?
Yo, what's up, Jake? How you doing today, man?
What's up, man? I'm jacked up after that Yankee game, man. Still have a heart attack, though.
Let's go. Let's go. One more win away from the World Series, man. This team's starting to click. I feel like everybody's hitting in this lineup.
It really has been amazing that, they have really gotten contributions from everybody. It's crazy. But other than Jazz Chisholm, who should never hit cleanup again. That was a moronic decision by Aaron Boone. But
I agree. If you want a lefty in there, Wells.
Put Rizzo there. If you want a lefty in there, Rizzo. It should be Soto, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton. If you are insistent on a lefty hitting cleanup.
Ooh, I agree. And Rizzo, he's been hitting really well with.
He can't field, but he can hit. He's looking. To be fair to him, off Class A, he got the rally started last night, and Volpe's been low key awesome too. So give him credit.
He did, and that would have been that was a tough play for him to try to make at first. To be completely honest, that's more in the pitcher than anything else, but. Rizzo still should have came up with it, but man, Rizzo's done more than he helped more than he hasn't. You know what I mean? It's crazy with broken fingers. But I just want to hit on Tyron Smith as far as the Jets are concerned. Man, he's been a concern. Do you think we see him get replaced by Olu at all this week?
I think if Tyron Smith is playing obviously bad like he was last week, I think you have to do it. Your season's on the line. You can't, oh, well, we got to stick with the veteran who got us here. Got us to where? 2-4? No, make the change. So I think if Tyron's bad, we should see Olu go out there and just come up with a phantom injury for Tyron Smith and let Olu play his natural position. Now, it's not going to be easy for Olu either. It's still the Steelers and TJ Watt, but you got to do something. I would use Olu more anyway as an extra blocker because the tight ends are giving you nothing regardless. So just put Olu out there for an additional pass protector, max protect, and just trust that Aaron can find Davante, Garrett, or Lazard. They could get open one-on-one.
Yeah, I like that. Having Olu as an extra blocker, man. I don't know. I mean, I think we're gonna win tomorrow. But let's go Yankees. Jets. Jets. You have a good one, Jake.
JT, appreciate you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, today's show is brought to you by Huga House. Huga House just dropped 6 new hats yesterday. If you want one, promo code Asman will get you 15% off. Buy one hat from Huga House. Get the second one 30% off. So check it out. Get the hat that I'm always rocking, that Rodgers and many others are rocking. HugaHouse.com. Promo code Asman for 15% off. Let's say hello to Joe Mike, who's next up on the show today. What's up, Joe?
Jake, what's going on?
You tell me, my man. How are you?
Pretty good. It's glad to see that the Jets finally cut Bates, the third tight end. I was hoping that when they had the roster cuts back in preseason, that the Jets would actually claim Robert Tonyan instead of Bates, because Tonyan had so much experience with Rodgers back in Green Bay. Actually, I think he scored 10 touchdowns when they were together. This season, you can see that there's a lot of similarities between the Jets this season and Rodgers last season back in Green Bay. When if you remember that season, Green Bay drafted 2 rookie wide receivers, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. I think also Rodgers did. I think he didn't show up for preseason. I think he did one of those retreats.
No, he missed all of OTAs, all of minicamp. He missed everything.
He missed everything, right? He did a darkness retreat, I think. He had no practice with those receivers. They struggled early in that year because he was not on the same page with those guys.
Well, he was pissed at the organization. This to me is completely different because that team started 3-0. Then Rodgers had the broken thumb on his finger. It affected his play. Their defense wasn't as good, and they really struggled. And then they went on a run only to finish 8-9 because they couldn't beat the Lions in that last game for a chance to get in as a wild card team.
But my point is that it took him a while to get on the same page with those wide receivers, right? With Rodgers getting hurt last year, I mean, for us Jet fans, we missed the opportunity of watching him. But what we don't realize is also the whole offense did not get the chance and that experience to learn, build the experience with him and get comfortable with the cadence. And then Robert Saleh, for whatever reason, decided I'm not going to start any of my starters during the preseason, which didn't help. And then Mike Williams was injured, so he had no reps with Rodgers at all, and he's just getting on track now to learn things. So my point is that experience, having experience, you can see it. He's leaning on Lazard because he knows where Lazard is going to be. I'm excited about the Davante Adams trade. I think now it's another person that he can lean on and depend on. I'm just, I'm tempering my expectations, right? No Jet fan should be saying that we're going to win the rest of the games this season. No one should say that we should be winning the Super Bowl. The Jets need to go out and prove to us that they can win games, right? And we shouldn't guarantee a win on Sunday. They need to prove to us that they can win. That first drive that Buffalo did against us last week was so embarrassing. They ran the ball right down our throats. They didn't even have a third down.
It was embarrassing.
If I'm the Steelers, I'm looking at that film and I'm salivating. I'm like, I'm going to try the same thing.
Yeah.
And Buffalo Jeff made a good point. Javon Kinlaw, the guy is built like a mountain. He should be dominating on every single play, and he doesn't show up on film. The Jets threw $9 million at this guy, one of the first guys they went after in free agency. You have to want it. I'm gonna give you three plays that shows an example. In the Viking game, first quarter, Jets had 39. They throw a screen pass to Garrett Wilson, right? He has to, the fastest way to a point is a straight line. He does a 3-step mambo. Defender touches him. He goes down. We missed the first down by 1 yard. The Vikings get the ball. They do the same exact thing. It's 39. They throw to Justin Jefferson. Jefferson gets the first down. There has to be a want and a desire to get the first down. Breece Hall, that play, he should have scored a touchdown. I just saw a clip. They showed the Najee Harris touchdown. The guy dove from 5 yards out to get in. If Breece Hall does that, he's got himself a touchdown. And one other example, Quincy Williams in the Viking game, he picks up the fumble, full head of steam. He's got blockers in front of me. Sam Darnold does a love tap on him, and he goes down. I'm screaming at my television. I'm like, what is going on here? You showed this stat over and over again. The Jets have not made the playoffs in 13 years. Losing starts to creep in. Rodgers has said it from day one. We have to change the culture here. We have to change the mentality, right? These guys have to win. Nothing is given to them, right? You have to want to win. And that's my point now. Go out there and show us that you guys can win.
Joe, they have to play with desperation tomorrow. Their season is on the line. There's no wiggle room anymore. They have put themselves in a 2-4 hole. Go win a football game. You have Davante Adams now. You have Aaron Rodgers. You have Garrett. You have Breece. You have Lazard. You have enough to go win a game against Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. Go get it done. Go get it done. There's no excuse. This team's so much better than 2-4. If they had a competent kicker, they'd have a win right now, if not 2. No excuse. Get it done. Bo became an Asmaniac. Shout out to Bo. Anyone going to get the 5 spot on a Saturday? We'll shout you out if you do it. Click that like button. If you're one of the 615 people in here, make sure you're subscribed. And if someone gives a membership, we will give you a chance to get one. Potentially our last call right here. Ladies and gentlemen, he celebrated his birthday yesterday. He turned the ripe age of 87. Nick Shine joins us now. Hello, Nick.
89, dudes. Pay attention, man. What are you doing?
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I have a question for you. I've seen the clip. I've watched it myself. You just aired it. That's what made me call in. Is the Robert Saleh at Whole Foods thing AI generated?
No,
because no father with 8 kids is walking out of Whole Foods with one mesh bag. Jake, did he get booted from his marriage? Is he on the outs? Is he living?
Let's review the
solo?
tape. Let me review the tape. Hold on.
Hey, Coach. How you doing? How you feeling after everything this week? Well, we saw Coach Belichick and the Mannings kind of give some support for you yesterday. How did that feel?
One bag.
You're right.
What father with a dozen kids comes out of Whole Foods with one bag?
It's a great point. I wonder what he got. Should have asked him that.
Yeah, like what did you get? You have an army of children at home. You're coming out of Whole Foods with one bag? Something's not right. That's Nick Shine reporting. That's 87-year-old Nick Shine reporting for you, my friend.
No, it's a great take. It is a great take.
On to the game tomorrow.
Are the Jets winning, Nick? Give me some good news.
They're 23-10.
23-10.
The only thing we're missing is execution. Pittsburgh's offense does not scare me. Will McDonald's coming in with a 3-sack game against Broderick Jones, and all of the fans who cried, "Oh, Bill Belichick fucked us and took Broderick Jones from us." Will McDonald is going to run circles around Broderick Jones tomorrow night. He's going to have 3 sacks, Jake.
3.
Russell Wilson holds the ball for too long. He's afraid to throw interceptions, and he's going to dance. That's inviting Will McDonald to go nuts. I believe their center, Zach Frazier's out. Quinnen should be able to get a little bit of a push.
Herberg is out too, which is a loss for them as well.
I'll tell you right now, the guy who worries me most on that offense, Jaylen Warren. He's coming back. He's healthy. He's working his way back up. We always have problems with those little speed backs. You know, I would rather go against a Derrick Henry with the Jets than a Jaylen Warren. I feel these little second running backs always come in and do a lot of damage to us, and I'm more worried about him than anyone else on their offense. I'm happy Fields isn't playing. I would have ran 4 verticals all the time and let Justin Fields run right by C.J. Mosley time and time again. I'm very happy Fields is not playing this game, and I'm happy that Russell Wilson's in, because if there's anyone that can ruin Mike Tomlin's 500 streak, it's Russell Wilson at quarterback.
That's true. Look, I think Russell Wilson is a better, just like maybe like pure thrower, but he could be rusty, and you're putting him out there in a game against a pass defense that's second in the NFL, and Fields has been the most efficient running quarterback in the league. He leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns. He leads the NFL in first downs picked up with his legs among quarterbacks. So Tomlin's doing the Jets a favor. I know Fields maybe still has some plays out there for him, but any play Russell Wilson's out there over Fields, given the state of the Jets' run defense, is a win for the Jets.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take Najee playing. He's not that elusive. I'll take that. He more wants to try to run like he's Derrick Henry, but he can't. So I'll take Najee Harris getting the bulk of the carries. I don't know, man. I think that you look at every game as you do, right? And you see not a bad team. You see missed opportunities. You see some poor execution. And I think it's just a matter of time before things click. We just missed the other day. We missed the pass to Brees on the first drive out to the flat that settles for a field goal. We missed Brees lowering his shoulder and diving over the guy for a touchdown. It's just little executions during the game that we're failing on that are leading to tight games. I think these last couple games, we're 2 scores better than the teams that we played. We're just not finishing it. And if they start finishing, you're looking tomorrow, and let's be real. Like I don't like to be dramatic with takes. Tomorrow's a playoff game because you need the tiebreaker against the Steelers down the road. The Houston game is a playoff game. You need the tiebreaker. And then you have, 2 weeks after that, the Colt game. You have 3 teams that you can potentially have wild card tiebreakers against. And then you have the Cardinals and the Patriots mixed in. Yes, I'm looking at Sunday, but you got to win these games against the AFC.
Well, you just need to win too, because you got to stop the bleeding too. Like you're right for tiebreakers, conference opponent, all that. You can't be 2-5, Nick. Like you cannot be 2-5 with this roster. You have to get it right, and then there's a path back to 500 against New England the following week.
Yeah, and I feel looking at the opponents, we can get hot. We will get hot. Any weather report for Pittsburgh tomorrow night?
I don't think it's going to rain.
Okay.
Let's see.
I know that's a real crappy field, and Boswell hasn't missed a field goal this year. He's missed one. It was over a 60-yarder, and that's usually was it AccuSure now? It used to be Heinz Field, AccuSure Field.
It's still Heinz Field to all of us.
Yeah. Okay. I was just all right. The one time I try to be politically correct and call it the right thing. It's the worst field goal percentage field. This game can't come down to Zerline the way he is.
No, they got to score touchdowns in the red zone. 100%.
You got to finish drives. You can't settle for it.
Pittsburgh, 75 degrees during the day, low of 47. So it drops big time there, but winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, so not crazy.
Okay.
I mean,
there's
going to be good weather tomorrow night. It's going to be a nice fall night.
I had a buddy put in a bet for me. Jets money line, Rodgers over 2 touchdowns, Davante anytime, and then an over tonight in the Georgia-Texas game.
I kind of want Texas to lose after some of Gary's calls.
I'm a Bulldog fan. I do want them to lose.
What sound does a Bulldog make, Nick? How was your birthday? Did you do anything fun?
I worked, and then I went to my son's football game, and they put a smackdown on Hunterdon and won 35-8. And the kids are on their way here now. I just finished working in the morning, and we're going to do some fun stuff today.
Enjoy it, man.
Thank you, buddy.
You've had a great life.
Dude, I was sleeping before. Yeah, it was my eulogy. I was sleeping before the Yankee game ended last night. I was like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I want to." You know me. I do shows late at night. I'm like, I want to go to bed early. I was sleeping before the Yankee game ended, man. That to me was the best thing that happened. Now I got to run around all today and tomorrow with the kids. So
I love it, Nick.
I enjoyed it, man.
All the love. Go
Thank you,
Jets.
buddy. I
Please
appreciate
win.
you. Hopefully, at my old age, my heart holds up, and I'm able to speak to you after the game tomorrow. If not, we've had a very good run as friends, Jake, and I appreciate you. Come visit me in the nursing home.
I will see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Shine. Subscribe to his channel, Proud NYJ fan. I've had two great content creators on the show today. BJF, the first hour, a little Nick Shine cameo there at the end. Happy Saturday, everybody. Shout out to Alex, who signed up for the Patreon. I already sent him the link where you can get a jersey for $30 or less. As soon as they add Davante Adams, you'll be able to get it. Comes with your membership, baby. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Great way to support me for less than a cup of coffee a month. Get those underdog picks in using promo code Asman. I will take the higher on Davante's receiving yards. I think he has at least 49 receiving yards tomorrow night. Him just knowing the hand signals enough is going to be key. Our guy Chef Nico in the house. His Mets won yesterday. He's fired up. If Asman finds no trade partner, then he has no choice but to report to the Jets. Agreed. And there isn't a trade partner, so I'm hoping we get some news on that soon. All right, look, here's the bottom line. They could use him. Figure it out. And as far as Chef Nico's Mets, they stayed alive. Tonight, the New York Yankees will try and win and get to the World Series. If they don't win, Chef Nico, I'm hitting you up for Game 6. Got to close it out. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button on your way out of here. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Once again, thanks to the Asmaniacs. September was the highest viewed month in the history of the show. October is projecting to beat September. Might have something to do with the fact that they traded for Davante this week. They fired a head coach in season last week. Certainly has nothing to do with winning. God. You guys are the greatest. Thank you all for your support. Reminder to come to our watch party tomorrow night. Let's get after it, man. All right? We need everyone there. Positive vibes. Jets are going to win. There's no way they could lose. I mean, come on. Jets never lose. They always win. RSVP if you're coming out. The link to do so is in the description. It's going to be a blast. We'll have the Met game on many of the TVs as well, so you can watch both simultaneously. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are the greatest. I simply end this show with one message to all. The message is, let's go Jets and Yankees.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the greatest shoe salesman since Al Bundy, the great Mr. Bonesy. Hey, Bonesy!
Thank my brother, thank my brother.
Bonesy, did you see Gators impersonation? They were crazy, right?
Gators freaking crazy, man. I don't even know what to say anymore. He's just crazy. I watch you Gator do this thing about it. It's just so crazy. I'm trying to sell the shoes, but oh man, I don't know about the Jets that I got the shoes to sell, but Gators look crazy, man. I can't take him anymore. He's just crazy. Oh my God, he's crazy.
Well, one of the greats, Mr. Bonesy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Because Addison just gifted a membership at the buzzer, and it went to Tyreek Cunningham. Addison, thank you for supporting the show. We appreciate it. Everybody, have a great weekend. We're back tomorrow for a post-game show after the game tomorrow night, and I'm on the radio, I should mention this, on ESPN New York from 4 until 7:25. So I'll be talking plenty of Jets, Mets, Yankees as well. Australian Jet fan won't let me end the show. He just gifted himself a membership. He did it the old-fashioned way. Look, I'm a capitalist. I'll stay on as long as there's super chats, man. That's it. They call me Moneybags Asman. Go Jets, everybody. Love you all.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh. Boom!
We're trying to change this whole attitude around here. You know, we're trying to build something special here. Get these fans to believe in us. They've been tortured for a long time, but it's great to be a Jet.